Thinking of investing, working, or starting a business in the cannabis industry? We've got you covered right here on Plant Problems. Hosted by Tony Frischknecht, Plant Problems takes a different approach to cannabis than what you're seeing and hearing from the mainstream media. Come along with Tony and be in the know about how to invest, work, or start a cannabis business. Let's get the show started with your host, Tony Frischknecht.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Plant Problems. I'm your host, Tony Frischknecht. Please hit the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, smash that subscribe button for me. That'll tune you into our next episode when it comes out. Also, if you are listening to this first time podcast, check out plantproblem.com. You can see all our episodes there, and you can also subscribe there as well for the new episodes that come out. So please do that for us. It helps people find us. It also lets more people know about us when you do that. So we really appreciate that. So getting to our show today, I'm going to touch on something I discussed a little bit in the past, not a ton, but a little bit. I'm going to focus on some marketing techniques, specifically two of them for cannabis. Marketing can be a major issue in cannabis. What are you guys doing for marketing? Really, what are you doing? Because it's different everywhere. And that's due to just regulations, whether it be in your state, in your county sometimes. I've just recently started to see some billboards, not in Denver, Colorado, but around some of the outskirts, which is pretty incredible because there hasn't been any way to advertise in Colorado outside of your store, aside from maybe a storefront banner that says who you are and potentially a special that you have going on. So what are you using to figure this out? And what I mean by figure this out is, what are you using to find your customers or new customers, staying connected with your current customers? So today I'm going to touch on two things that I think most places are underutilizing, only because even the shops that I go to and support locally, most of them I don't see doing this. I see a couple of them doing it, but there's only a few. So if you're new to cannabis and you're just opening your store in, let's say, a new state, the great thing about a new state, number one, you usually have demand that's way exceeds supply right now. And of course, because this is the first time it's actually opened up to your area, right? So demand is really high. So for the first 6 months or a year is pretty incredible. If anybody that smokes and they know what's going on in the state, they're going to stop. The newcomers are not quite going to come yet. And we can talk about that some other time. But when you have these newcomers coming in, what can you use to engage them more often or stay connected to them? So the first thing we're going to talk about is texting, SMM messages, right? So there's some systems out there that are pretty inexpensive. Basically, might cost you somewhere between $40 and $60 a month. All right. So here's some statistics I'm going to share with you. People always have their phones on them, which if they're getting a text, at least I am more prone to respond to a text or at least read it because it's not going into my email. It's not going through. It's not overwhelmed with emails. It's like, oh, it's a text. So one of the big things is 90% of cell phones in the US have unlimited texting. So very simple to connect there. And then another thing I found out is the SEC has strict regulations on text spam. So this actually creates less competition if you are utilizing this platform, which is awesome, right? So you're not going to be battling against a bunch of people. Now, I look back to when we had opened our stores and we were so busy that we didn't take the time to do this. So if you are opening a store, please look into this SMS texting programs. I don't have any one particular that I'm going to push you guys towards, but do some research on it, figure out what best fits you. But they basically, the cost is a range between, depending on how many messages you want to send out, 1,000 or 2,000 a month, and then they go higher. But to start out with a simple system of 1,000 to 2,000 messages a month is a great way to go. This is a missed opportunity that I know we didn't take advantage of at the beginning. We started using it after a while, after we started playing catch up, but really doing this at the beginning would have been extremely helpful, especially because your first impression of a place, any retail, if you can get that connection and keep that connection, it's much easier to keep a customer than it is to find a new one. So as opposed to looking for the masses, start creating some loyalty, right? And this creates that. It also creates this platform that not only you can send out specials, but you can also send out for events, and people that are using you constantly, you give them the opportunity to opt out of it. But this is something really simple that you can start in the beginning. So I highly suggest you look into some type of text marketing program that you can start. And I think this is something one person can handle. You can send out these mass texts. So look into that. Okay. Now, this is a new one that I think is being looked over, and I don't think most people know this is out there. I've just recently come across this one over the last few months, but everybody right now is involved in social media. Drawbacks for cannabis and social media. Most of us are blocked. That really sucks because you guys have spent years in creating these followings, and there were many people even in 2011, 2012 that were creating followings, and the platforms were knocking them off. They'd start a new one and they'd knock them off, and that it gets extremely frustrating, not only because of all the time you put into creating it, but there's a lot of money lost. So you've got this real big highs and lows that are happening in your social media. And this has been the problem with social media, right? It's awesome while it's happening and you get it going, but then the platforms have control over everything. They can shut you down, kick you off, block you from ever opening an account again. So one thing that I've come across recently is creating your own social network. How do you do this? Well, I'm going to tell you. So let's go on the drawbacks of not being able to control your social media. Of course, like I said, control of your message. The drawback is you can't say anything about cannabis or they'll kick you off, right? Hey everyone, excuse me for just a minute. We will continue the rest of our conversation in a few seconds. Guys, I want to thank you so much for all your support over the last year, because without you, I couldn't continue bringing you so much great content, so thank you. Today, I have some exciting news that I can't wait to share with you. I have been working tirelessly for the last several months creating a brand new podcast. This podcast is all about the process of extraction and the equipment that surrounds the world of essential oils. Essential oils are in thousands of products we use every day, from lotions we put on our skin to our favorite soft drinks. And yours truly has the honor of hosting this incredible show. Guys, with essential oils, the opportunities are endless. We invite you to listen in and subscribe to our new show called Extraction Essentials. Come be a part and join me on this epic journey as we explore the world of essential oils. We will be launching brand new episodes every Monday. You can find out more about our show by visiting extractionessentials.com. See you guys Mondays. Now back to the show. So if you were to create your own social network, you can control the message. Nobody can censor you. That's the incredible part about this, right? Well, how do I do that? I've got everybody on Facebook. I've got everybody on Instagram. I've got everybody in LinkedIn. How do I create bringing people over? Well, there are ways to do that. I'm not going to get into that today, but there are ways to do that. So I'm telling you, that's not an issue. But understanding that you can build your own community and take it off of the platforms and move it over to you is a huge part of this, right? So you don't have any, there's no control. The social networks don't have any control because you're creating your own little internal network. So, and then you're building that community. So all of a sudden you're able to create. Now, this is something that is going to take time, just like it did in when you first started doing Facebook, right? Or any of the others. I'm just referring to Facebook because that's the most well-known one. Build your community, right? Building that community will eventually give you the opportunity to put some of your ad words out there, your advertising, right? They can be specials, they can be events, similar to what the texting is, but this is more visual, right? You can also take these platforms and build subgroups just like you can in Facebook. You can take online courses if you want to, let's say, teaching people how to take edibles safely. Like we used to preach it with our bud tenders about telling them how to do this with everybody purchasing edibles. You need to do this. Well, this could be you could create a small video that could go in your social network, send this out to everybody. Then your community's up to date. You're putting out something that tells the client or customer that you care about them, like, look, do this to be safe. Basically just creating a positive message. And then of course, when you come out with something that you want to share with people are like, sweet, I'm going to come by the store today and get this 50% off because buy one, get one 50% off, something like that. So you start creating that. And what's cool is you are creating your own Facebook per se. And what Facebook does with a lot of these, they're watching what's going on. And we know we do it anyway because we enjoy it. And we enjoy connecting with all these people, but they're watching and they're reviewing different texts on what people are talking about. And when we create these subgroups, basically these people that want to talk about more things in depth, these are great places to set up for subgroups, right? Now, these subgroups get into more detailed about something. Maybe one of them's want to talk medical. They only want to talk medical. So you have that subgroup. And then you've got another one that wants to talk about edibles. And then you have another one that wants to talk about flowers and so on, right? So you can start creating these groups. And then once you create these groups, you can actually charge a monthly fee. It's kind of like a service fee, I mean, there's guys out there that charge $5 a month just to be a part of this, right? Because they know they're in a safe space. They can say whatever they want, relatively. When I say anything they want, of course, you can set guidelines like all the rest of the social networks do, but that's your choice. That's how you want to set it. So one place to do this that I've seen has done a really good job. This is a company called Mighty Networks, and they are helping people like you and I create these platforms. They've got tons of video on YouTube about them. So if you want to take a deeper dive into this and understand what they are and how they work, go to YouTube, check them out. But this networking system allows you to create that around your whole business, which is incredible. And I don't think they had something like this back when we had our stores. Had they, though, this is the first thing I would have jumped on 100%. And I'm not seeing any of this happening right now, at least from the Colorado perspective. Now, you guys in other states, of course, there might be some people doing this. I'm just not seeing it because it takes some time. But again, going back and creating this connection from the beginning can save you so much time. It allows you to have all the control, and it takes it away from the social media that is out there already and gives you the control. It also creates an environment for your patients and customers to feel safe and talk about, anything they want and not worry about other governmental entities looking to see what they're doing. The big social networks taking and stealing their data, their personal data, all that stuff is why this makes so much sense. This is, to get this up and running and going, you're looking at somewhere around 6 months. But once you get that and everything flowing good, and what I mean is 6 months is, learning all the ups and downs, getting your people set on it, and then starting to create a following. You should have some good momentum around 6 month time period. And then you're just adding people, and you can also, advertise this in your store, which makes it really easy for people to connect, because then they can stay connected just like they do their Facebook feed, their Instagram feed. And you know how that just pops up and they get a automation of people talking. Well, this can be that exact same thing for you. So if you're not doing either of these, you need to be at least taking advantage of one of these. At the very least, the texting. That one takes a little bit of effort, not very much. But I would institute that first, and then I would start working on creating my social network. Guys, if there is something that you would like me to go more in depth on, I can do that digging for you. I just need to hear from you. So check us out at plantproblem.com. Let me know if there's something in this podcast or another episode that I can talk about and share more with you. I'd love to do that for you. I feel I owe that to the cannabis community. I try to take anything I think is valuable and bring it to the forefront for you guys. If it's in depth, great. If it's just a touch on it, just to let you know that it's out there, something like the social network build. I think, well, I hope it's a great one for you guys to take and use. But please let me know if there's anything I can do on that front. I love looking at this stuff. I love investigating it and figuring it out for you. But this is a great one, and I look forward to bringing you so much more. So, guys, thanks so much for listening today. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you next time on Plant Problems.
You've just listened to another insightful episode of Plant Problems. If you like what you heard so far, don't forget to tell your friends and colleagues. For additional resources or to leave a review, head over to plantproblem.com. Join us again next week on Plant Problems with Tony Frischknecht. We look forward to having conversations with you as we go along this journey.